Uncharted 4 is obviously the fourth or fifth, counting the Vita, entry in the flagship franchise for PlayStation and developer Naughty Dog. The hype surrounding what has been pseudo-promised to be the final entry in the series left many fans on edge for what exactly Naughty Dog might do. Kill Drake? Kill Sully?
That's one way to do it.
Kill the whole damn crew? Seriously though, how are these people still alive? But Uncharted 4 doesn't seem like it wants to be an ending. It never has the courage to commit. To the contrary, in fact, it seems to want to start anew by, at first, taking us into the distant future, a callback to Uncharted 2's opening, hold on! And then immediately back to the distant past to explain a story regarding Nate's older brother Sam, played by Troy Baker, before catapulting us forward to our present time.
It's good to be back.
After an intro that focuses on a false death scene with Nate's older brother, we very quickly find out that he's still alive. And Nate is kinda happy about that.
Yeah, well, it's a story of my life, I guess.
And adding to the mild absurdity, we find out that he's been in a third world prison these past 15 years.
We're good. Everything's good.
Odd this brother has never been mentioned in any of the series' progenitors. Also odd 15 years in a third world country's prison doesn't appear to change a person all that much.
If you don't mind me asking, how'd you pass the time in prison?
Reading, mostly. There was this one guard saw me as a charity case, I guess. He'd check out books for the library for me.
Sam seems like the same guy he was 15 minutes ago. Oh, excuse me, I mean 15 years ago.
Prison, a lot of books.
This was my first inclination that something didn't feel quite so right here. There was definitely something missing that I couldn't put my finger on. My first sentiment was to get upset about the artificial empathy that the death of a sibling creates, but then again, Drake never really seemed all that happy to see him alive.
Tonight, dinner. At my place. You're coming to dinner. I can tell her all about you. Shit, I gotta tell her all about you.
I get that this is a performance issue, but it's not as if Nolan North has had difficulty creating pathos in the past.
That's right.
And then it dawned on me. This isn't Sully, or Elena, or the mysteriously missing Chloe, or even Cutter.
Wow.
This is some guy I've known for all of 15 minutes in a story that has created extraordinarily rich characters and fantastic world building. I wish I could say that feeling dissipated as the story progressed, but it always felt like a rabbit hole. Sam is new. Uncharted is old. All of this feels unnatural.
It's not what it looks like.
And this problem resonates through the entire narrative because Sam never goes away. And when he does, we again jump back to the past so we can spend even more time with him while the story takes time explaining answers to questions we never cared to ask. Why does he call himself Drake?
Mom believes that Sir Francis Drake had ass.
Well, take your pick. We now have two answers for that.
Well, not with his wife back in England anyway.
Not sure why we needed another 60% through the final entry, but that seems to be the soup du jour of Uncharted 4. It really wants you to know it's telling a good story.
Dr. Livingston, come on!
I suppose it tries to be so expansive because that was the chief criticism of the superior Uncharted 3 storyline. The difference is that Uncharted 3 understood why people played Uncharted, whereas Uncharted 4 really doesn't. Without creating yet another rabbit hole, I can only assume this had something to do with series director Amy Hennig's departure from the series, but any hypothesis I present would only be conjecture. With that said, there is fun to be had in Uncharted 4, and a lot of it. Drake is once again pitted in impossible situations where he must sneak or shoot his way out in some of the most wonderfully created action sequences in gaming. With an emphasis on vertical level design and an addition of a new grappling hook and the subtraction of more on-the-rail action set pieces, it appeared that Naughty Dog wanted to give you the reins to create your own set pieces. I doubt this was a result of laziness, as Naughty Dog is the cream of the crop, but it does appear to lack some imagination when there is really only one true pre-created action set piece. Granted, it may have been the best of the lot.
I don't got this!
Obviously, this is opinion, but stealth seemed to be more emphasized in this iteration, and I think it's to its detriment. I loved playing the stealth approach in previous entries, but here it makes the action mundane. Only when the bullets start flying does the gleeful 12-year-old Indiana Jones fan in me trance into euphoric bliss. But, as with everything in Uncharted 4, it's addition by subtraction. There is so much time in between the action that you feel like you're in one of those telltale sequences where you're just walking around looking for the right thing to click on. Which is what I expect from a point-and-click adventure game, not from Uncharted 4. There is just so much walking around and listening to the characters talk where I would just sit there thinking, my god, are we still walking through Scotland? Are we still walking through the jungle? Are we still just walking around?
All this running around, surviving by the skin of our teeth.
Of course, the argument is that this has always been used to develop characters in the series. It's now a Naughty Dog staple. Look at Last of Us, for instance, but that staple has always been used appropriately. Not to develop characters I've known for an hour in a series finale nearly a decade in the making, and certainly not to find out why Drake's last name is Drake for the second time, no less, over halfway through your final entry in a series known for action. Why do I feel like we're padding length here? And it would be fine if it was further exploring the relationships of series regulars as Uncharted 3 did. That game asked the question of, what is Drake trying to prove?
What are you trying to prove?
Is any treasure worth dying for it?
Just isn't worth it, Nate.
Is the thrill of it all worth somebody you love dying for it? Sully, Chloe, Elena. Uncharted 4 just rehashes the same question. Instead, now, is it worth you or your brother, who didn't exist until now, dying for it? Not only is it a weaker plot for being a retread, it's also weaker thematically because I don't even know who the Sam guy is. Which brings us back to the beginning.
So how much does he know?
Naughty Dog was cheaply seeking empathy because it's Nate's brother and he has to care. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean that I do.
Relax, kid.
It felt so refreshing to me once Elena re-entered the game well over the halfway point, but it was still ultimately reduced to just walking around and looking for a place to boost her up.
I can boost you up there.
Great.
While they palaver about all the things Elena should leave Nate for, which Elena, conspicuously stupid, which is new to the series, decides not to. Not really true to the character, but I digress.
It's a lot.
The walk and talk approach probably would have worked fine in the first half, but at this point in the game, it's just too late. Once the train sequence happens in Uncharted 2, the game ups the ante. Once you hit the rough seas in Uncharted 3, same thing. Here, it's finding out Drake is still climbing cliffside, still searching for treasure, and still alive somehow.
Holy shit, he's still alive!
In a world where games are ripped apart for having a lack of innovation, where is the outrage here? Everything I saw felt like a carbon copy except for Drake's magic grappling hook that sucks back into his belt like a vacuum cleaner. Cool?
Listen, we still got this.
The best moments come early, when we reminisce on times gone by. We see pictures of Chloe and hear references to Sully, Cutter. We see Elena and Drake together, married, which is a commitment that Naughty Dog should be commended for. We take some quiet time to reflect on the series' glorious past. Then our new adventure starts, after its false start, and that's all we're left with. A ghost of a good thing. For the entirety of the story, Nate's emotional arc is shaped around the idea that this was something he used to be good at, something he used to love to do. And for my part, that was the only time Uncharted 4 felt like it was onto something. Nate's realization was, unfortunately, mine as well.